Part 1. Early Life Education and the Rise of a Prodigy, 1432–1451. Sultan Mehmed II, later known to history as Mehmed the Conqueror, was born on March 30th, 1432, in the city of Edirne, the capital of the Ottoman Empire at the time. His birth marked the arrival of a ruler whose vision would forever alter the political, cultural, and military landscape of the world. Mehmed was not merely a conqueror of lands. He was a revolutionary statesman, a scholar, and a ruler who bridged the medieval and early modern worlds. Royal lineage and family background. Mehmed was the son of Sultan Murad II, one of the most capable Ottoman rulers of the 15th century, and Huma Hatun, whose origins are debated by historians. Through his father, Mehmed belonged to the prestigious House of Osman, a dynasty that had already ruled for over a century and a half. Murad II was a seasoned warrior and administrator who had stabilized the empire after periods of internal rebellion and external threats. From an early age, Mehmed was aware that he was not simply a prince, but a future guardian of a rapidly expanding Islamic empire. Childhood and early education. Unlike many princes of his era, Mehmed received an exceptionally rigorous education. His father ensured that he was trained not only in military arts but also in philosophy, mathematics, astronomy, theology, law, and languages. Mehmed studied Arabic for Islamic scholarship, Persian for literature and poetry, Latin and Greek, rare among Muslim rulers. This multilingual ability later allowed him to communicate directly with European scholars and diplomats, giving him a unique strategic advantage. Mentors and spiritual influence. One of the most influential figures in Mehmed's life was Sheikh Akshamsuddin, a renowned Islamic scholar, physician, and Sufi mystic. Akshamsuddin instilled in Mehmed a deep belief in the famous prophecy of Prophet Muhammad. Constantinople shall surely be conquered. What a wonderful leader will that leader be, and what a wonderful army will that army be. Other tutors included Mullah Gurani, a strict disciplinarian who shaped Mehmed's intellectual discipline. Mullah Husrev, a scholar of Islamic law, first reign a child sultan in 1444. At the age of just 12, Mehmed was placed on the throne after Murad II abdicated to live a quieter life. The empire faced from childhood. Mehmed believed he was destined to fulfill this prophecy. However, ruling an empire at such a young age proved immensely challenging. The empire faced internal revolts, pressure from European crusader states, a powerful Janissary corps resistant to youthful authority. The situation worsened when a Christian coalition launched the Crusade of Varna. Faced with disaster, Mehmed sent a famous letter to his father. If you are the Sultan, come and lead your armies. If I am the Sultan, I command you to come. Murad II returned, defeated the Crusaders, and resumed control, returned to power and political maturity. After Murad II's death in 1451, Mehmed ascended the throne again, this time as a determined, disciplined, and visionary ruler aged 19. Unlike his earlier reign, Mehmed immediately took firm control of the military, treasury, and administration. He executed rival claimants, reorganized the Janissaries, centralized authority, began planning the ultimate goal, the conquest of Constantinople. This moment marked the transformation of a gifted prince into a ruler with a singular historical mission: empire building, reforms, and the cultural renaissance, 1453–1480. After the fall of Constantinople in 1453, Sultan Mehmed II was no longer merely a conqueror. He became an empire builder. The capture of the ancient Byzantine capital marked the beginning of a new era in world history, and Mehmed understood that conquering a city was only the first step. Governing it wisely was the true challenge. Constantinople becomes Istanbul. Mehmed immediately declared Constantinople the new capital of the Ottoman Empire. Rather than allowing destruction or revenge, he pursued a policy of restoration and renewal. The city, devastated by centuries of decline and war, was transformed into a thriving imperial center. He ordered repair of city walls and infrastructure, reconstruction of markets and public baths, restoration of aqueducts and roads. Mehmed encouraged Muslims, Christians, and Jews from across the empire to resettle in the city. This policy revived trade, culture, and urban life, making Istanbul a cosmopolitan capital. Religious tolerance and governance. One of Mehmed II's most remarkable achievements was his policy of religious tolerance. Rare for the medieval era, he understood that stability came through inclusion rather than oppression. He appointed Gennadius Scalarius as the Greek Orthodox Patriarch, guaranteed religious freedom to Christians and Jews, allowed churches and synagogues to function under Ottoman law. This system later evolved into the millet system, allowing religious communities to govern their internal affairs. Mehmed ruled as a Muslim sultan, but governed as a Roman-style emperor, even adopting the title Kaiser-i-Rum, Caesar of Rome. Administrative and legal reforms. Mehmed centralized power to strengthen the empire. He reduced the influence of feudal lords and reinforced the authority of the state. Key reforms included codification of Ottoman law, Kanuname-i Ali Osman, strengthening of the imperial treasury, reorganization of provincial governance, strict discipline within the Janissary Corps. These reforms laid the foundation for the Ottoman Empire's long-term stability, enabling it to endure for centuries. Expansion in Europe and Anatolia. Mehmed continued expanding Ottoman territory aggressively yet strategically. In the Balkans. Conquest of Serbia, 1459. Campaigns in Bosnia, where Islam spread gradually. Defeat of Albanian resistance after prolonged conflict. In Anatolia. Destruction of rival Turkish beyliks. Defeat of the Empire of Trebizond, 1461. Consolidation of Ottoman rule across Asia Minor. Each conquest was followed by administrative integration, not mere occupation. Naval power and Mediterranean ambitions. Understanding the importance of sea power, Mehmed transformed the Ottoman navy into a formidable force. He expanded shipyards at Golden Horn, conquered key Aegean islands, challenged Venetian dominance. By the late 15th century, the Ottomans were no longer just a land empire, they were a Mediterranean power. Patron of knowledge and the arts. Mehmed II was a Renaissance ruler in the Islamic world. His court attracted scholars, poets, scientists, and artists from both East and West. He collected Greek and Roman manuscripts, invited Italian painters including Gentile Bellini, supported astronomers, physicians, and historians. Mehmed himself wrote poetry under the pen name Avni and engaged in philosophical debates about Plato, Aristotle, and Islamic theology, education, and intellectual curiosity. Unlike many rulers, Mehmed personally participated in scholarly discussions. He studied military science, geography, history, comparative religion. He believed that knowledge was a weapon as powerful as the sword. Social and economic development. Mehmed strengthened the economy by promoting trade routes between Europe and Asia, standardizing coinage, protecting merchants regardless of religion. His policies turned Istanbul into a hub of global commerce. Part 4. Final campaign's death and the eternal legacy of Sultan Mehmed II, 1480-1481. By the late 1470s, Sultan Mehmed II stood at the height of his power. His empire stretched across 3 continents, Europe, Asia, and Africa. Yet even after decades of conquest, Mehmed showed no signs of slowing down. To him, expansion was not merely ambition. It was a strategic necessity to secure the empire's future. The Italian campaign and the dream of Rome. In 1480, Mehmed launched one of his most daring campaigns, the invasion of southern Italy. Ottoman forces captured the port city of Otranto, sending shockwaves across Europe. For the first time since the fall of the Western Roman Empire, a Muslim army stood on Italian soil with the potential to march toward Rome itself. Many historians believe Mehmed envisioned Rome as the final symbol of imperial legitimacy, uniting the Eastern and Western Roman legacies. Establishing Ottoman supremacy over Christendom, European powers panicked, hastily forming defensive alliances. However, fate would soon intervene. The mysterious death of a conqueror, in May 1481, while preparing for another major campaign, possibly toward Italy or the Eastern Front, Sultan Mehmed fell gravely ill near Gebze, close to Istanbul. On May 3, 1481, at the age of 49, the conqueror died. The cause of death remains debated. Some historians suggest natural causes, possibly gout or illness. Others believe he was poisoned, perhaps by court rivals or foreign agents. His sudden death halted the Italian campaign and altered the course of history. Succession and internal conflict. Mehmed's death triggered a fierce struggle between his sons. Bayezid So, known for his piety and cautious governance. Prince Kem, charismatic and ambitious. Bayezid eventually emerged victorious and became sultan, while Kem lived the rest of his life in exile, used as a political pawn by European powers. This succession conflict exposed the dangerous consequences of absolute monarchy, yet the empire remained intact, testament to Mehmed's strong institutional foundations. The man behind the legend. Beyond the battlefield, Mehmed II was a complex figure, a ruthless strategist when necessary, a patron of scholars and artists, a ruler who blended Islamic governance with Roman imperial traditions. He believed that a ruler must inspire fear in enemies and justice among subjects. Historical legacy. Sultan Mehmed II's legacy is immense and enduring. He ended the Byzantine Empire after 100 years. He transformed Istanbul into one of the world's greatest cities. He reshaped global trade, indirectly influencing the age of exploration. He redefined Muslim-Christian relations through governance, not destruction. His conquest of Constantinople in 1453 is widely considered the end of the Middle Ages and the beginning of the early modern era. Mehmed II in modern memory. Today, Mehmed II is remembered as Fateh, the conqueror, in the Islamic world, a visionary emperor by historians, one of the greatest military minds in world history. Mosques, universities, and institutions bear his name, and his strategies are still studied in military academies worldwide. Final reflection. Sultan Mehmed II was not merely a conqueror of cities, he was a conqueror of eras. His life represented a turning point in human history, where old empires fell and new world orders emerged. His dream was not only to rule lands but to shape civilization itself.